November 4th, 1956, at dawn, 1,000 Soviet tanks rolled into the center of Budapest to put down a revolt which had brought hope, freedom, and a new style of government to the people of Hungary. The rise against Soviet rule had begun some weeks earlier.
This is how it all started, with a peaceful students' demonstration 100,000 strong. They carried pro-communist banners. No one spoke of rebellion. All they asked was greater democracy within the present regime. But meanwhile, on the radio, Party Secretary Guerreau was describing the demonstrators as rabble. And the word was like a burning match in a powder barrel. All the pent-up emotions of a decade, all the hatred of Russian interference flared up at once. Budapest became a battleground.
For the first time since the communist takeover at the end of World War II, the Hungarian national flag was openly displayed, and the hated red flags were burned. Partisans were joined by elements of the Hungarian army, and when they weren't fighting alongside, the soldiers often handed over their weapons to the revolutionaries, including their tanks. What started as a small anti-Soviet protest erupted into a full-fledged war. While some hardline members of the Hungarian Politburo wanted the Soviets to help put down the rebellion, others advocated compromise. There were now hundreds of thousands of people marching through the streets of Budapest. At first, Premier Imre Nagy seemed to support the revolution, but soon he was directing the secret police against his former supporters. Even as Russian officials were publicly negotiating the withdrawal of Soviet troops from Budapest, plans for a full-scale attack on the rebels were being drawn up in Moscow. The velvet glove was about to be removed from the iron fist. The brutality of that fateful day not only helped bring dissident Hungarians to heel, it also brought condemnation from around the world and censure from the United Nations. After 8 weeks of valiant resistance, Hungary's patriots were faced with the inevitability of Soviet might. Over 50,000 were killed in the fighting. Premier Nagy was executed for having initially voiced sympathy for the revolutionaries' cause. Despite the brutal crushing of the revolution, the people of Hungary would not give up. It would take 30 more years, but they would finally gain their freedom.